Hey there, coin hunters. Let me hit you with a quick question. What's small, coppery, and could buy you a mansion? No, it's not a magic bean. It's a 2017 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Yep, you heard that right. This tiny coin, the one you probably passed by a million times in your pocket change, could actually be worth $1 million. Intrigued? Stick around because today, we're diving into why this humble penny has the numismatic world buzzing, and more importantly, how you could be sitting on a gold mine without even knowing it. Before we start, let me share a little story. A few months ago, I found a penny on the floor of my car. It was grimy, covered in lint, classic floorboard penny. Little did I know, it was worth taking a closer look. Now, I didn't strike it rich with that one, but boy, it opened my eyes to the treasure hiding in plain sight. So grab your piggy banks and settle in, because we're about to get rich in knowledge and maybe in cash. What makes the 2017 D penny so special? Okay, let's get to the juicy details. The 2017 D penny is from the Denver Mint, and it was part of a commemorative run honoring the 225th anniversary of the U.S. Mint. Sounds pretty standard, right? But here's the kicker. Some of these pennies were struck with a unique error. And when it comes to coins, errors are like secret golden tickets. This particular error is known as a double die or misaligned strike. Basically, it means the design on the penny got stamped twice, creating a slightly blurry or shadowy appearance. Coin collectors, or numismatists, fancy word for coin nerds, go absolutely wild for these kinds of mistakes. Why? Because they're rare, and in the world of collectibles, rare equals valuable. How rare are we talking? We're talking finding a needle in a haystack rare. Out of the millions of 2017 D pennies minted, only a handful have this error. And that scarcity is what's driving the insane price tag. One such penny recently made headlines when it sold for nearly $1 million at auction. That's a lot of cheddar for something you can fit in the palm of your hand. How to spot a $1 million penny? So how do you know if your penny is a jackpot? Look for the D Mint mark under the date. That tells you it's from Denver. Examine it closely under a magnifying glass or loupe. If you see doubling on Lincoln's profile or the text, you might have an error coin. Check the coin's condition. The shinier and less scratched, the better. Now, don't go throwing your piggy bank against the wall just yet. Even if you don't find $1 million penny, other error coins from the same year could still fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Let me tell you about the time I thought I struck gold. I found a shiny 2017 penny with a weird smudge on it. My heart started racing. Could this be it? Could this be the one? Spoiler alert, it wasn't. Turns out, it was just a fingerprint. But hey, it got me hooked on coin collecting. Now, every time I get change at the store, I'm like Sherlock Holmes, inspecting every penny like it's a crime scene. If you do find a 2017 D penny with an error, don't just toss it on eBay for a quick buck. Get it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. These folks will certify your coin's authenticity and condition, which is crucial for fetching top dollar. From there, you can auction it off at a reputable house or sell it to a serious collector. So, there you have it. Your guide to turning pocket change into life-changing cash. Who knew a penny could pack so much potential? Whether you're a seasoned collector or just someone who loves a good treasure hunt, the 2017 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny is proof that sometimes the best things really do come in small packages. Now here's my challenge to you. Go dig through your couch cushions, old purses, and car floorboards. You might just stumble upon your $1 million miracle. And when you do, don't forget who told you first. Alright, if you found this video helpful, hit that subscribe button and join our community of coin enthusiasts. I post weekly tips, stories, and strategies to help you uncover the hidden gems in your change jar. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. What if I told you that a simple penny from 1967 could be worth a staggering $1.1 million? No, it's not a typo. We're talking about a rare, no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Stick around because by the end of this video, you'll be checking your change with a lot more curiosity and maybe a little bit of panic. Alright, let's set the stage. You're casually going through your coin jar, right? You know, the one filled with pennies, nickels, and dimes that you swear you'll eventually sort but never do. But one day, as you're mindlessly sorting through that pile of change, you spot a penny that seems Well, a little off that it's from 1967, but wait a second. There's no mint mark. And that, my friends, is where the magic happens. Let me break it down for you. What's the big deal with this 1967 penny? In 1967, every penny that came out of the U.S. Mint had a mint mark to show where it was produced, either from Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver, D, or San Francisco, S. However, some coins from 1967, particularly those minted in Philadelphia, came out without a mint mark at all. And let me tell you, these no mint mark pennies have been the holy grail for coin collectors. It's like if you found a vintage comic book, but the pages were signed by Stan Lee. You didn't know it at first, but now you realize you're holding onto a treasure. Well, the reason this particular 1967 penny has skyrocketed in value is because of rarity and an interesting twist in coin history. Most of the 1967 pennies were produced with the mint mark, so when some slipped through the cracks without one, they were overlooked for years. Fast forward to today, and guess what? Coin experts have discovered that these no mint mark pennies are worth a pretty penny, pun totally intended. And when we're talking about a coin that has been estimated to fetch $1.1 million at auction, yeah, that's not a mistake. It's the result of a serious rarity factor. Only a few have been confirmed, and these rare pennies have taken the coin collecting world by storm. What should you do if you find one? Now, before you start hunting down every 1967 penny you can find, let me give you a reality check. Just because a penny is from 1967 doesn't mean it's automatically worth a fortune. To get that sweet $1.1 million, your coin has to meet specific conditions. First off, it needs to be in good condition. No scratches, bends, or coffee stains. Yes, people have coffee stained their coins. I've seen it. Secondly, it has to be verified as the no mint mark variety. So, get yourself a magnifying glass or one of those fancy coin loop gadgets to check for that mint mark, or the lack of it. Speaking of checking coins, I've got a personal story to share with you. A while back, I was sorting through a box of coins I found in my grandma's attic, and let me tell you, her attic was like the Bermuda Triangle for lost stuff. I found a 1967 penny. It looked pretty standard, but I didn't give it much thought. I tossed it in the meh pile along with all the other pennies I'd collected over the years. One day, I came across a video talking about this very rare 1967 penny with no mint mark. I got curious, grabbed my magnifying glass, and you won't believe it. I thought I saw something faint, but it didn't have the mint mark. My heart raced. I thought, could it be? Turns out, it wasn't the rare one. But for about 5 minutes, I was convinced I was going to be rich, and it felt like I had discovered gold. And okay, I didn't find $1 million coin that day, but I learned a valuable lesson. Always check your coins, even the ones that seem too ordinary. You never know when you'll stumble upon something worth way more than face value. So, in summary, the 1967 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny is a legit treasure that could be worth $1.1 million if you happen to find the right one in perfect condition. But remember, it's not just about luck. It's about knowing what to look for and understanding the coin market. And hey, if you're thinking, how do I get started with coin collecting and uncovering hidden gems? Don't worry, I've got your back. Make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any more tips on coins worth money, strategies for spotting rare treasures, and stories of my own coin adventures, hopefully with a little more luck next time. Thanks for watching and happy hunting out there. Who knows? Your next penny could be a gold mine waiting to be discovered. All right, folks, buckle up, because what we're talking about today might just make you rethink that penny jar you've been ignoring at the back of your drawer. If you've ever wondered if that old Abraham Lincoln penny you've got laying around could actually be worth something, you're in for a treat. Some of them are worth a lot more than you think. Imagine finding a penny worth a whopping $1.2 million. Sounds crazy, right? But guess what? It's real. Let's dive into the crazy world of the 2014 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny and see what makes it worth millions. So, let's start with the basics. We all know pennies. They're those little copper coins that seem to get stuck under your couch cushions and are usually dismissed as just a penny. But not all pennies are created equal, my friends. Most of the time, when you see a penny, it's just a penny. But then there are the exceptions. And today, we're talking about one major exception that could have you sitting on a gold mine. Well, Not literally gold, but close enough. Let's rewind a little bit. In 2014, the US Mint produced a whole bunch of pennies, like it does every year. But here's where it gets interesting. Some of these 2014 pennies don't have a mint mark. For those who are like, wait, what's a mint mark? I got you. A mint mark is that little letter, like D for Denver or S for San Francisco, that tells you where the coin was made. Normally, these mint marks are stamped on the coin, but some of the 2014 pennies just don't have them. And those, my friend, are the ones you want to look for. So why is this such a big deal? Well, the 2014 no mint mark penny is rare. Like, really rare. It's a bit like finding a unicorn in a haystack. If you've ever gone coin hunting or flipped through old change, you know how hard it is to find one of these elusive pennies. And when you do, well, that's when the magic happens. These little copper wonders have been known to sell for a staggering $1.2 million. Yes, you heard me right, $1.2 million for a penny. Now, I know what you're thinking. That's got to be a typo, right? Nope, it's true. But here's the catch. Just finding one isn't enough to rake in the big bucks. A lot of things determine the value, like the coin's condition, rarity, and whether or not it's been preserved properly. Now, let me tell you about a little personal experience I had. I was going through some old change I'd been hoarding for years, and honestly, it was mostly just lint and broken rubber bands. But then, right at the bottom of the jar, I found something that made me pause. It was a 2014 penny, and my heart started racing. I immediately thought, could this be the one? Is it the no mint mark one? I took a close look. No mint mark. I was ready to Google everything and call my banker, but after some research, I realized it was a far cry from the $1 million coin. It turns out it was just a regular penny, no special mint error. But hey, that moment of excitement? Totally worth it. I'm not giving up yet, though. So if you're in the same boat, keep looking, because you never know when you'll find the jackpot. So, if you're still thinking, how can I spot this magical penny? Here's what to look for. First, it's a 2014 penny with an O mint mark. It's that simple. No D or S stamped on the coin. But don't just take my word for it. Check the coin under good lighting. Use a magnifying glass if you need to. Sometimes, these little details are easy to miss. And if you do find one, here's what to do next. Don't go blowing all your savings on a celebratory pizza just yet. Get it graded by a professional. There are companies like PCGS and NGC that can assess the condition of your coin. The better the condition, the more it's worth. If it's in mint condition, you're looking at the possibility of it reaching that $1 million price tag. But if it's a little scratched up, don't worry, it might still be worth a significant amount of money. So, there you have it. The 2014 no mint mark penny. A tiny coin that could make you a millionaire, or at least a lot richer than you were before. If you've got a jar of pennies sitting around, it might be time to start sorting through it. You never know what treasure could be hiding in there. And hey, if you're into finding valuable coins, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We've got tons of tips, tricks, and coin hunting strategies coming your way. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. Who knows, the next video might just be the one that helps you find the next big thing in your pocket change. Thanks for tuning in, and happy hunting out there, coin collectors. See you in the next video, and remember, always check your change. You never know when you might hit the jackpot. How many of you have a bunch of pennies lying around that you just toss into a jar, thinking they're not worth much? Well, what if I told you that some of those pennies could actually be worth $1.3 million? Yeah, you heard that right, million. So grab that jar, because today we're talking about a very special penny from 1989 that could make you a millionaire. But don't go running to your change jar just yet. We've got some details to go over. It's 1989. The world's rocking out to Like a Prayer by Madonna. The Simpsons just debuted on TV, and George H.W. Bush was in the White House. But what really mattered, folks, was that this little guy, this tiny Abraham Lincoln penny, was sitting in circulation, just chilling in your pockets, unaware of its future fortune. A penny? Really? But hear me out. This isn't just any penny. It's a penny with no mint mark. And that's where the magic happens. Most pennies made in 1989 have a mint mark, that little letter D or S on them to show where they were made. The D is for Denver, and the S is for San Francisco. But somehow, a few pennies slipped through the cracks without that mint mark. And those few little guys are worth a whole lot more than their 1 cent face value. Now, let me explain why this matters. In coin collecting, rarity is key. If a coin is rare enough and people want it badly enough, it becomes valuable. So, this 1989 no mint mark penny is incredibly rare. So rare that collectors have been known to pay up to 1.3 million bucks for one. That's a lot of cash for a penny, huh? It's like finding a hidden treasure in your pocket, except you don't have to fight off pirates or solve any ancient riddles to get it. Okay, I know what you're thinking, but I've never seen one of these 1989 pennies with no mint mark. And that's because they're so rare that they're like a needle in a haystack. But just because you've never seen one doesn't mean it's not out there waiting to make you rich. And trust me, I've learned this the hard way. Let me tell you a quick story. A couple of years ago, I was cleaning out my old coin jar. I had pennies, nickels, dimes, and probably some ancient bottle caps in there. I didn't think twice about it. But as I was sorting through, I found a penny from 1989. It didn't have a mint mark, and honestly, I didn't think much of it. I just threw it into the maybe it's worth something pile. Fast forward a few months, and I was watching a coin collector video when they started talking about the 1989 no mint mark penny. My heart dropped. I rushed to my pile and boom, there it was. But, plot twist, it wasn't the rare one. It had the mint mark. Talk about a letdown. So, trust me, if you find a 1989 penny without a mint mark, you'll know exactly what you've got. And it might just change your life. Now, let's talk about how you can tell if your 1989 penny is the one worth big bucks. First, you've got to check for that mint mark, or lack thereof. If your penny has a D or S, it's not the one we're looking for. But if you have a clean, no mint mark penny from 1989, you might want to grab a magnifying glass and start researching how to get it appraised. The condition of the penny also plays a big role. The better its condition, the higher its value. But even in average condition, if it's a no mint mark penny, it's still worth way more than a typical penny. So, what should you do if you think you've found a rare coin? Don't just take my word for it. Get it checked out by a professional. There are plenty of reputable coin dealers and appraisers who can give you a good idea of what it's worth. And if you've got a real winner, you could end up getting an offer that could make you a millionaire. Cue the confetti, right? So, to sum it up, folks, check your pennies. You never know when you might come across a rare 1989 no mint mark penny worth a small fortune. It's crazy to think that a simple coin, something most of us wouldn't even think twice about, could change your financial future. And hey, if you're not checking your change right now, I can't blame you. I've been there. But trust me, once you start paying attention, you might just strike gold. Or at least a pretty sweet penny. Before you run off to dig through your piggy bank, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, because I've got more coin tips and strategies coming your way. Who knows, the next coin we talk about could be worth even more than this one. Imagine finding a coin worth more than a brand new car, a vacation to Hawaii, or even a down payment on a house. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, grab your magnifying glass because you might just have a treasure hidden in your pocket, and it could be a 1981 Abraham Lincoln penny with no mint mark, worth a whopping $1.4 million. Yeah, you heard me right. $1.40 million. I'm going to take you on a wild ride today, talking about the 1981 penny that might be lurking in your pocket change, worth more than any other coin in your collection. Don't worry. We'll break down how this all works and why it's causing such a stir in the coin world. Plus, stick around for my own hilarious coin-related story at the end. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. So, grab your snacks, hit that like button, and let's get into it. Alright, let's start with the basics. We all know Abraham Lincoln, right? The guy who freed the slaves and, apparently, the guy whose pennies are causing serious chaos in the coin world. So, let's talk about the 1981 penny, specifically the ones that don't have a mint mark. Mint marks are usually stamped on coins to show where they were made. For example, D means Denver, S means San Francisco, and so on. But in 1981, something weird happened. Some pennies were accidentally struck without a mint mark. Now, most of you are probably thinking, big deal. a penny without a mint mark? Who cares? But this little slip-up turned into one of the most valuable mistakes in coin history. Why? Because it's super rare. And when something's rare, it's worth more. There were only a few of these 1981 pennies made without a mint mark, and because they're so rare, collectors are fighting over them. And I mean, fighting in the nicest possible way, of course. These pennies pop up on auction sites from time to time, and when they do, the price shoots through the roof. The most famous one recently sold for about $1.4 million. Yes, a penny. A single coin. That's enough to make any coin collector's jaw drop, right? Now, why does this happen? Well, it's a combination of rarity, collector demand, and the fact that these pennies are part of U.S. history. It's like a vintage car. The less there are, the more valuable they become. And to top it all off, 1981 was a huge year for pennies, and these mint errors were like finding a needle in a haystack. People who find them are basically sitting on a gold mine. So, how do you know if you've got one of these million-dollar pennies? Don't go throwing out your change just yet. It's pretty simple to check. Take a good look at your 1981 pennies. If it doesn't have a mint mark, no D or S under the date, you might have a winner. Of course, it's not as simple as just having an unmarked penny. The coin also needs to be in mint condition. No scratches, no wear and tear. If it's been rolling around in your pocket for years, well, it might not be worth quite as much. But don't toss it just yet. Even pennies in decent condition can fetch a pretty penny, pun intended. Now, before you go running to your local coin dealer with your 1981 penny, remember that coin condition matters. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70. A coin with a grade of 70 is basically perfect, and as you can imagine, that's the type of coin that's going to get you the big bucks. So, if you find a 1981 penny, take it to a professional grader to see where it falls on the scale. Speaking of coin finds, let me tell you a funny story. A few years ago, I was going through my coin jar, looking for some rare coins for my collection, and I thought I had found a treasure. It was a 1943 steel penny, which is a pretty valuable coin. I was so excited, I almost threw it up in the air like I just won the lottery. But then, I took a closer look and realized it wasn't the steel penny I thought it was. It was just a regular, old zinc penny that had rusted. My face went from, I'm about to be a millionaire to, oh, I'm an idiot faster than you can say mint mark. Always double-check your finds, because that one mistake could be your ticket to a fortune. And who knows, maybe that 1981 penny you've got could be the next big thing. So, to sum it up, if you're lucky enough to have one of these 1981 no mint mark pennies, you could be sitting on a fortune. Remember, rarity equals value. So check your change, do some research, and maybe get that penny graded to find out if you've got a milli in your pocket. If you want to learn more about rare coins, how to spot valuable ones, and strategies to build your own collection, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. You don't want to miss out on more tips that could turn your spare change into serious cash. And hey, if you find a penny worth $1 million, don't forget to send me a thank you card for the tip. So, you're casually flipping through your change, and you spot an old Abraham Lincoln penny. You think, I wonder how much this is worth? Well, buckle up, because if you've got a 1996 D mint mark penny sitting in your wallet, it might just be worth way more than you thought. And no, we're not talking about a few cents. We're talking about up to $1.6 million. Yes, you heard that right, a penny, worth a fortune. But how, you ask? Stick around, because we're diving deep into this amazing story, and trust me, by the end of this video, you'll be checking your pockets in a whole new way. The 1996 D penny. This isn't just any penny you can find in your loose change. We're talking about a specific, rare error coin. Most of the 1996 D pennies were minted just like every other penny. Nothing special about them. But, in some rare instances, a handful of these pennies were made with a die error, which caused them to have a completely different design on them. These rare coins have become some of the most sought-after pieces in the coin collecting world, and if you find one, you could be holding onto a piece of history worth up to $1.60 million. Now, I know what you're thinking. Okay, sounds great, but how do I even know if I've got one of these? Good question, my friend. The first thing you want to do is check the mint mark on the coin. Look closely at the back of the penny, and you'll see a small D under the year 1996. That D tells you it was minted in Denver, and it's crucial because it's the mint that produced these super rare error coins. But hold on, finding a 1996 D penny with an error is like finding a needle in a haystack. It's not as common as you might think. So, what exactly is the error? Well, this penny was supposed to have a specific design, but a die malfunction led to some of the coins being struck incorrectly. These misprints, called double dies, create weird and sometimes almost impossible to make out details on the coin, making them incredibly rare and valuable to collectors. If you're lucky enough to have one of these rare error coins, you've got a real treasure. But don't just take my word for it. The highest known sale of a 1996 D penny with this error went for a jaw-dropping $1.6 million. Now, I'm not saying every penny like this will make you a millionaire, but let's just say it's worth a close inspection. Now, let me tell you a little story. A while ago, I was cleaning out my childhood coin collection. The one that was mostly filled with pennies, nickels, and a few shiny quarters that I thought were the big score. I came across a penny from 1996, and thinking it was just another regular penny, I tossed it back in the drawer. Fast forward to a few weeks ago, and I stumbled upon a coin collecting video, the type we all get sucked into at 2 a.m. about rare coins. Suddenly, the penny from my drawer popped into my head, and I decided to check it out. Of course, I didn't have the error coin, but for a brief, glorious moment, I thought I had struck gold. Moral of the story: check your pennies, folks, but don't get too disappointed if your penny doesn't bring in millions. Even though the 1996 D mint penny can be worth a fortune, it's not like every single one is going to make you rich. These errors are pretty rare, and the coin's condition matters a lot too. If it's beat up, scratched, or worn down, the value is significantly less. In fact, a well-worn penny like this might only be worth a few bucks. So if you've got one that looks pristine, keep your eyes peeled. So, there you have it. If you've got a 1996 D penny, it might not be just a penny. It could be worth a small fortune. And if you do find one of these rare coins, you'll be sitting pretty. But remember, condition matters, and so does the rarity of the error. Don't just toss those old pennies away. Who knows? You might have the next $1 million coin hiding in your pocket. If you found this info useful, don't forget to like and subscribe for more tips on coins worth money, coin collecting strategies, and stories that will make you think twice before spending your loose change. And hey, maybe you'll find the next big score right here with us. Keep checking your coins, and let's make some money together. You're going through a jar of pennies you found at the bottom of your drawer, and bam! You spot something that looks just like any other penny. But guess what? It's not. It's a rare 1987 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, worth $1.5 million. Sounds like something out of a coin collector's dream, right? Well, let's talk about why that penny could be worth more than your car, your coffee machine, and maybe even your vacation combined. Alright, so we're diving into the world of pennies today, but not just any pennies. We're talking about the elusive 1987 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny. If you're thinking, wait, isn't a penny just a penny? Well, not always. Sometimes, a penny could be hiding a fortune. First things first, let's break it down. A mint mark is a tiny letter on the penny that tells you where it was made. In the US, it's either a D for Denver, an S for San Francisco, or sometimes no mint mark at all. Now, most coins made in 1987 have a D or an S on them. But there's a special edition, a mystery penny, that has no mint mark. This one is rare and in some cases worth a small fortune. It's not like the mint decided to make this penny intentionally rare. Instead, it was a mistake during production. There was a mix-up with the dies that stamped the coins, and some 1987 pennies were struck without a mint mark. This error caused the coins to slip through the cracks, unnoticed by most collectors at the time. Because of this error, people who have this coin can sometimes sell it for big bucks. We're talking about $1.5 million bucks. That's right, a little penny worth more than your student loans, your grocery bill, and maybe even your house. You may be wondering, why is a penny worth so much? It's all about rarity, condition, and demand. There aren't many of these coins around, and those that are in excellent condition, shiny and pristine, can fetch an enormous price. The thing is, most people won't recognize a 1987 no-mint mark penny as special. It might just sit in a jar of coins like any other penny. But to a savvy collector, that's money in the bank. My personal experience with rare coins now, let me tell you a little story. A few years ago, I was going through a box of old coins my grandma had handed down to me. It was full of pennies, dimes, and nickels, the usual. I wasn't expecting much, but there was one penny in there that stood out. It was a 1943 steel penny. I thought it was a mistake. Some weird thing that probably wasn't worth much, right? I did a quick search on Google and, I learned it was worth hundreds of dollars. A quick trip to my local coin shop, and I walked out with a smile on my face and a little extra cash in my pocket. So, if you ever find a penny that looks a little different, don't just toss it back into the jar. It could be worth a lot more than you think. How to spot a 1987 no mint mark penny? Okay. So how do you find one of these? You'll need to check closely. The penny should be from 1987.it, should not have a mint mark. This is the most important part. Examine the coin for any signs of wear. If it's in pristine condition, that's even better. Take a good look at any 1987 pennies you have lying around. If you find one with no mint mark, don't immediately spend it. You might want to get it appraised by a professional or check out auction sites to see what it's going for. To wrap up, who knew that little penny you toss around could one day be worth $1.5 million? This is just one of the many hidden gems in the world of coin collecting. The trick is to keep an eye out, do your research, and maybe even dig through some old change jars. Who knows? That next coin could change your life. If you enjoyed this coin discovery journey, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more tips on coins worth money, collecting strategies, and how to spot the next big find. Trust me, you'll want to stay in the loop. Who knows what other rare coins might be hiding in plain sight? You're casually flipping through your spare change, maybe hunting for that next cup of coffee, when you spot something strange, a 1982 D Lincoln penny. At first glance, it looks like your average penny, right? But hold up, that penny might just be worth a small fortune. Yes, I'm talking about a coin that's worth up to $1.7 million. Yes, million with an M. So grab your magnifying glass and let's dive into why your loose change might be hiding some serious cash. Alright, so here's the deal. In 1982, the US Mint made a change, literally. They switched the composition of the penny from 95% copper to 97.5% zinc, coated with copper. This change was part of an effort to save money on production costs, but it also led to a bit of a mix-up. There were some coins made that year with a copper composition and some with zinc. And among those, there's a specific variety, the 1982 D copper penny, that has caught the eyes of collectors and numismatists. That's a fancy word for coin experts, ever since. Now, most of these pennies are the zinc variety, but here's the kicker. A very small number were actually made with the old copper blend, and these copper versions are the ones that could send your bank account into overdrive. The thing is, finding one of these rare copper pennies from 1982 isn't like stumbling upon a quarter in the couch cushions. The chances are slim. In fact, they're so rare that the few that have been found have sold for staggering amounts, some even fetching around $1.7 million at auctions. That's a lot of pennies for just one penny, right? To identify one of these rare beauties, you'll need to do some detective work. First off, look for a penny from 1982 with a D mint mark, meaning it was produced in Denver. Then, you'll need to check the weight. A regular 1982 penny weighs 2.5 grams, while the copper version weighs 3.11 grams. If you've got a trusty scale, or just a kitchen scale that you're not using for actual cooking purposes, weigh your penny. If it's heavier than 2.5 grams, you might just have yourself a gold mine. But hey, it's not as easy as just looking at your change jar. I learned that the hard way when I once thought I had struck gold with a 1943 copper penny, until I realized it was just a regular 1943 steel penny. Classic rookie mistake, right? It turns out I wasn't going to retire just yet, but that's the fun of coin collecting. Sometimes you win, sometimes you learn, and sometimes you just get a good laugh. So, what does this mean for you? If you've got a 1982 D penny hanging around, it's worth checking out. Even if you don't have one, this could inspire you to start taking a closer look at your pocket change. You never know what might be hiding in there. And remember, while the 1982 D copper penny is incredibly rare, there are plenty of other coins out there that could be worth more than you think. Alright, That's the scoop on the 1982 D copper Lincoln penny and its insane market value of up to $1.7 million. I mean, can you imagine? Just finding one of these could be a life-changing moment. So, before you toss that handful of pennies in the jar, take a second to give them a once-over. You might just be holding on to a small fortune. And hey, if you want more tips on which coins could make you a millionaire, or maybe just give you some extra cash for a weekend getaway, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I'm here to help you unlock all kinds of coin-related treasures. Plus, I've got plenty of other stories about my own adventures in coin collecting. Trust me, you don't want to miss them.